So the Placer SPCA is the largest and most comprehensive nonprofit animal welfare and sheltering organization in Placer County. And we receive thousands of homeless and abandoned animals every single year. And our goal is to really focus on their individual needs and care until we can find them a permanent and forever home. That takes a team, an incredible team of a wonderful staff, a medical team, and volunteers who not only are making sure that they get the medicine that they need, the diagnostic tests to figure out their health, but the love and attention that they deserve until we are able to find that perfect home. So I think it was the first time that we had ever received that number of animals from the same household. Some were in perfect condition, unbelievably so. I mean, I couldn't believe that we could receive healthy animals from a home that had over 60 dogs to start. Some were pregnant, some had just given birth, some were filthy, some had infections, and some just needed a little time to either grow up with their mothers and then get adopted, go into foster homes and receive care there, and then find their forever homes. All I know is that our staff and volunteers worked tirelessly to make sure that those animals got the care that they needed. Lola and Brisket are just a great example of animals who come through the doors of the Placer SPCA and go on to find, well, their best homes ever and will live their best lives ever, thanks to you.
The Placer SPCA, I mean, the care that these dogs got, I mean, you could tell. I mean, when we walked in there, I mean, they were relatively full at the time. I mean, just from this particular litter, and then they had other dogs in other areas of the facility. But I mean, they were just so, they were so generous. I mean, it made the process so easy, you know, to foster them and later to adopt them. But now that we've been through the process of fostering and adopting, you know, knowing the behind the scenes of the dog food and the crates and, you know, the volunteers that provide the blankets and the puppy pads and, you know, the medical. I mean, I did not realize how much medical assistance a lot of these dogs at the Placer SPCA need. You know, they provided the care for Lola and Brisket. They provided the medical assistance for Lola and Brisket when they first got there. And it's just, I can't thank the people that donate enough. I think that if more people saw where their money went, if they were able to hold, you know, 2 dogs that came out of an 80 litter, you know, hoarding situation like ours did, I mean, it would, you know, it tugs at my heartstrings. I look at them sometimes too. I still can't believe that, you know, that the situation they came out of, you know, and how well they're doing.
Mau Mau, what a gorgeous middle-aged cat, but boy, did he have some medical challenges. We'd fix one thing, then the next thing would come up, and we want to make sure that before we place an animal into their forever home, that we've really treated them holistically. And our vet department really stepped up to make sure that Mau Mau got the medical attention and care and treatment that he needed before he went into that very, very special home.
We went to the SPCA, dropped off some food, and like we normally do, we walk around, and we were just looking at the dogs, the cats, and we walked by and saw Mau Mau sitting with one of the volunteers, and she was just petting him, and I noticed he didn't have any eyes. And that kind of just tugged on my heartstrings a little, because we have other animals that are, you know, needy. And I just went over to Carol, my wife, and asked her, or told her, I said, hey, there's a cat over there with no eyes, and he looks sad, and the first words out of her mouth were, go adopt him. And we did, and he looked like he needed a home. He was being well taken care of, but you could tell he wanted a family. And so I wanted him to be part of our family, and that's how we got him.
Lucy and Ethel. Quite a story. So I was rather surprised when our staff approached me about accepting Lucy and Ethel from another shelter. They began to tell me the story. It's 2 German Shepherds, older girls, had significant medical issues, and they knew that the shelter that they were at could no longer provide the care that they needed and were feeling desperate. And that shelter actually reached out to us because they know that we've had tremendous success with treating and caring for animals until they're able to find their forever homes. I had to think long and hard about it, but what I really began to think about was, what would I do if these were my animals? What would our donors want us to do? And what's the right thing to do? And you know what? Under the circumstances, the right thing to do was to get these animals into our care so we could provide them with the medical attention that they needed until they found their forever homes.
When they first got there, I saw both of their faces, and I'm like, these are the dogs. And I was like, Mom, can we get them?
Yes, she was very excited.
It's just so nice to have dogs in the house, and it's hilarious having both of them because they're just two little peas in a pod. You can see why they're the perfect pair. They have their own personalities, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoy taking them for walks. It's nice to do that again. So it's just something I truly enjoy having. But there was just something about these two. I didn't think anybody else, I think people would see them and think, oh, sweet, hopefully they find a home. But I just thought, they really seem like they're really sweet, just mellow dogs, and they would really appreciate a really loving home. So something, I don't know, it's just a gut feeling, I guess. Something about them in particular. It wasn't like I feel sorry for them. It was just, even when we met them, they were just super happy and everything, but I could just tell there was something about them.
For animals that enter our care with medical issues, the SPCA is a saving grace. There are animals that come in from homes that could not care for them for various reasons, health, cost, moving, and there's animals that come to us that we don't know if they've ever had a home. But when they arrive, their life changes. Their life changes because we're able to take them in and not only provide their basic needs, food, shelter, water, love, but we're also able to go that step further and say, gosh, it looks like you have a medical problem. It looks like you have a behavior problem. It looks like there's something we can do to make you the happiest pet you could be. And we do that. And the reason we can do that is because of the Guardian Angel program. Without that program, there's not the same opportunities for these animals. And so we just can't thank donors enough for allowing us to be that light at the end of the tunnel for these animals.
So Muno is a great example of an animal that has benefited by the Guardian Angel program. Muno came into our care. He was surrendered by his owner back in May of 2021, and he is with us today after some substantial medical treatment. His owner was unable to provide that treatment on an ongoing basis, and we can understand why. He had some significant medical issues, but we were able to actually bring in a board-certified surgeon to do a very, very special surgery that we now believe will affect Muno's quality of life for the better forever, and he's now ready to find his forever home. So, thanks to your support tonight, you'll continue to allow us to provide the medical care and treatment that more than 1,000 animals coming through our doors this year will need. Thank you for being an angel. Muno. And Muno thanks you too.